The Triumph Tiger has been a benchmark in the middleweight adventure tourer and the dual sport bike category right from its very inception. Though the 800s came into existence back in 2010, the first ever Tiger AT actually was introduced way back in 1936 and came powered by a 349cc 4-stroke single. The Tiger AT made an emphatic entry by winning all three classes of the International 6-day trial on its debut. Over the years, the evolution has been clearly evident as the Tiger became more sophisticated and better equipped with each and every upgrade. So what do we get with this new 2018 Tiger 800 range? Well, first of all, we get 200 plus updates across the engine components, the chassis and the onboard equipment, which is as comprehensive as it can get. We have several variants on offer. First, we have the entry-level Tiger 800 XR variant. We then have the Tiger 800 XR-X variant. And finally, we also have the Tiger 800 XC-X variant. The XR is priced at Rs 11.76 lakhs ex-showroom. The XR-X is priced at 13.13 lakhs and the XC-X is priced at 13.76 lakhs. Now these are the three variants that are available as of now. We also get the top spec 800 XCA variant which will be made available soon. Now please note that the power and torque figures remain the same for all the variants. The liquid cooled 12 valve DOHC inline 3 800cc engine puts out a max power of 95 PS at 9500 RPM and a max torque of 79 Nm at 8050 RPM. This comes mated to a 6-speed gearbox. All the variants now come with a shorter gear ratio for the first gear, which results in better low-speed traction and instant responsiveness. All the variants now get a more responsive and a lighter weighing engine along with an improved exhaust system. We also get ride-by-wire throttle, switchable ABS and traction control. Now differentiating the XR-X from the XR model is the 5-inch full-color TFT console and the 4 riding modes that we get only with the XR-X model. The XR-X model also gets the updated cruise control feature. Now both the XR and the XR-X models get a 19-inch front wheel with Metzeler 2-Rounds tires. At the back, all the models get a 17-inch wheel with a 150 section tire. The XC-X gets a larger 21-inch front wheel as opposed to the 19-inch wheels that we get with the XR and the XR-X models. The XC-X also gets 5 riding modes as opposed to the 4 riding modes that we get with the XR-X model. The first 4 modes are similar for both, namely road, off-road, rain and sport modes. For the XC-X, we get an additional off-road pro mode. However, the top of the line XCA model gets 6 rider modes by adding in a fully customizable rider mode. The XCX also gets specially tuned WP suspension at both ends to satiate your appetite for hardcore off-roading. The XCX also gets longer travel suspension with the front offering 220 mm of wheel travel as opposed to 180 mm of the XR models. At the back, the XCX offers 215 mm of wheel travel as opposed to 170 mm of the XR models. Now please note that the XR and the XR-X models get 43 mm Showa USD forks up front and a Showa monoshock at the back. Dimensions wise, the width of the XCX is up by 10 mm, height is up by 40 mm and the wheelbase is up by 15 mm compared to that of the XR models. Talking about the brakes, the basic XR model gets Nissin brakes at both ends, whereas the XR-X and the XC-X models get Brembo brakes up front and a Nissin brake at the back. The disc diameter though is the same for all models with a 305 mm disc up front and a 255 mm disc at the back. Now as a result of the aforementioned changes, the XC-X is 5 kgs heavier than the XR models, weighing around 205 kgs dry. The seat height for the XCX is also greater at 840 to 860 mm compared to 810 to 830 mm for the XR models. Please note that the seat height in both cases is adjustable by 20 mm up or down. Another important thing to note here is that the XCX gets spoke wheels whereas the XR-X gets alloy wheels. Now with the suffocating differentiation part out of the way, let's focus on the model that I'm reviewing today, the Tiger 800 XR-X. Talking about the new design, though the overall silhouette feels familiar, this new design feels a little more organic and more contemporary compared to that of the older models. The overall fit and finish and build quality is top notch as one would expect from a Triumph motorcycle. motorcycle. We get a perfectly laid out windscreen that is adjustable for 5 positions. The screen gets innovative aero diffusers that deflect the air away from both the rider as well as the passenger. The trademark headlamp layout lends the bike a dynamic stance. The profile exposes the tubular steel trellis frame and also highlights the 5 twin-spoke cast aluminum alloy wheels and the lighter free-flow exhaust that sounds just as much as sporty as the Radical Street Triple RS. The tail lamp also highlights the legendary bloodline of the Tiger family. The seats are ultra comfortable. The seat foam used is of premium quality and offers unparalleled comfort. The overall ergonomics are absolutely spot on, irrespective of whether you're riding seated while on tarmac or even when you're standing up and zipping through the dirt. The switches are perfectly laid out and are of good quality, and believe it or not, we also get heated grips, something that I would dare not touch this summer season. Also, the full color TFT console is another major USP for this bike. We get 3 different display styles as you can see here. We also get different riding modes, namely road, sport, off-road and rain. Also, please note that both the ABS as well as traction control can be switched off completely as per your personal preference. Now, taking the bike out for a spin, this is where I realized what makes the Tiger such a blockbuster hit in its segment. The first thing to note is the balance and the control that the bike has on offer despite being on the heavier side. The bike feels huge and intimidating when it stands alone, but once you hop on and start riding, the bike doesn't feel as heavy. In fact, the weight distribution and the mass centralization concept ensures that you feel completely in control of the bike, be it on-road, off-road or even in city traffic. The power delivery is really intense and absolutely belligerent, something that you would not expect from an adventure tourer. The bike literally flies off the mark just like the Street Triple RS. It is easy to maneuver once you get a hang of it, but because of its heavy set build, it is a tad difficult to maneuver through city traffic. Now, making things worse here is the heat management. The only place you wouldn't want to find yourself with your Tiger is in city traffic. The heating is clearly apparent. You can feel it on your thighs while caught in traffic, and it is bothersome to a great degree. But the flip side to this is that all higher capacity motorcycles tend to heat up in city traffic. Now, my only concern is that Triumph, having set the benchmark so high in every other aspect, they could have done a better job with the heat management, maybe allowing the hot air to blow downwards instead of blowing sideways. Also, once we are on the highways or even when we are doing off-roading, the heating isn't all that apparent. Anyway, the bike is so good and so perfect in every other aspect that you would not mind overlooking this issue. I mean, the engine is butter smooth with no hint of vibration whatsoever. The high-speed stability is as good as it can get. The clutch feel is nice and light. The throttle action and the throttle rotation is short and light and easy, thereby offering a fatigue-free riding experience. The windshield does an outstanding job in fending off wind blast. We get 4 riding modes on the XRX, namely road, sport, off-road and rain, wherein the ABS sensitivity, the traction control and the throttle map changes respectively in each of these modes, thereby delivering a mode-specific riding experience. Talking about the brakes, we get twin 305mm floating discs with Brembo 2-piston sliding calipers up front. At the back, we get a single 255mm disc with Nissin single-piston caliper. Please note that just as I mentioned before, both ABS and traction control are switchable. The braking is very good for a bike in this segment, although I still feel the brakes could offer a better initial bite. Talking about the suspension, the XRX gets 43mm Showa upside-down forks with 180mm of wheel travel up front and a Showa monoshock with 170mm of wheel travel at the back. The rear monoshock comes with hydraulic preload adjustment. Overall, the bike is an absolute gem in terms of pretty much everything, be it riding pleasure, the perfectly sorted out riding ergonomics, the top quality suspension setup, or even a good and effective braking system. If only the heat management is a little better, the Tiger would definitely be the perfect adventure tourer that you might be looking for. Talking about other relevant specs, tank capacity is 19 liters, which translates into good tank range. Seat height is 810mm and can be raised up to 830mm as per your personal preference. To know the exact on-road price for this bike, as well as if you have any other queries, you can call the number appearing on the screen currently. The ground clearance is not officially mentioned, but I'm pretty damn sure that it would be around 200mm and thereabouts. Mileage wise, I am told that we can expect around 15 to 20 kmpl, and you might even get more if the bike is predominantly ridden on the highways. So I guess this wraps up my review of the 2018 Triumph Tiger 800 XRX model. I just hope you found this video useful. Until next time, this is Dino saying ciao. Take care, God bless, and ride safe.